Hello and welcome back to Join Dota League Season number 5 here on HeflaTV 1. This is Game 2 of a Best of 2 series between Make It Happen and No Fear Dota. Make It Happen currently one game up over NFD. After a pretty convincing game number 1, their lineup got online really quickly, and at a certain point No Fear Dota just didn't have the tools that they need to fight into it. Demon's Queen of Pain really showing its colors and performing very well throughout the entire game, setting the tempo for pretty much everything that Make It Happen wanted to accomplish. They'll open up this game with a Juggernaut Lion opener, and No Fear Dota have already picked up the Venge for their team. There's not really a lot to say about these three heroes. It hasn't been said before. Jug, always going to be a really nice hero in this current patch. Farms incredibly quickly, utilizes that farm very well, and yeah, really stable. Lion, a pretty similar story. You can't really ask for much more than 2 disables and a truckload of nuke damage coming out from your supports. With good positioning, Lion can do a lot of work, and even up against a Slark, usually a pretty slippery hero, you're going to have the Hex to maybe stop him before he gets off a Dark Pact, and Finger of Death to burst him down before he can get out of the fight. And even if push comes to shove and he does get that Shadow Dance off, Earthspike does stun him through that, which is always nice to have at your disposal. But that said, No Fear Dota are also not without their strong heroes. Vengeful Spirit and Slark are very good in their own right, offering that a little bit of extra minus armor and damage to Slark. With the Vengeance Aura as well as Essence Shift, those two skill scaling very well together throughout the duration of a fight. But honestly, I think that Make It Happen already have some better, or have a better start to their draft, let's say. Juggernaut and Lion just offer you so much. Even though Lion is pretty easy to kill if you can get on top of him, usually that's not going to be the case, and he has ways to counteract that. A lot of control that he offers to the fights, and Juggernaut's going to be pretty hard for No Fear Dota to actually lock down with these two heroes. Spin gets you out of pretty much everything already, except for the swap, I suppose, coming out from Venge, and a theoretical Basher eventually from the Slark. Next stage of ban is going to come out with Tidehunter banned out by Make It Happen, and Queen of Pain and Io banned out by No Fear Dota. A little bit of respect given to Demon after that first game. Me out from MIH, looking really solid on that Queen of Pain, and honestly, I can understand that ban. Even if it wasn't something that they just lost to, it's a reasonable ban by any stretch of the imagination. We still have a Batrider left in the pool that maybe No Fear Dota want to pick up for themselves just to secure a little bit more of an initiation edge. It might end up leaving their draft a little bit damage light, although Slark can do a lot. The majority of his damage is pretty item dependent. Although Dark Pact and Pounce as a nuking combo are pretty good early on, they tend to fall off pretty quickly. At least in that regard. I mean, Dark Pact's always going to be nice to purge off those stuns, which inevitably are going to be coming out for Make It Happen. To follow up the Lion and Jug, you can go in pretty much any direction you want. You can angle more towards the late game, or you could go for a very aggressive early start. Lion and Juggernaut are heroes that do offer both of these options. With the healing word power, Jug is more than comfortable to start 5-manning at a very early time and start taking out the enemy's towers. Or you can just sit back and farm up, and then late game with a built-in crit as well as the Omni Slash, you can do a lot of work. Earthshaker really doesn't answer the question of where Make It Happen are going to take this lineup, but it's another hero that can stun Slark out through that Shadow Dance, and another really solid support. Earthshaker Lion is a roaming duel, can do a lot. With a Fissure Block and with some follow-up Disable coming out from the Lion, there's not really anybody that's safe, just because of the raw amount of damage that's, or the potential for damage that comes out from these two supports. They allow you to get so many auto attacks off with the amount of control that they offer, and with a Juggernaut inside the lane, that Blade Fury is going to be doing a lot of work. Maybe we even get to see Blade Fury get maxed out instead of going for the 1-1-1 stats build, which is ever so popular. No Fear Dota going to pick up a Bristleback. It's not going to be the easiest of games to be the Bristleback, but we'll have to see if he's able to get up enough farm. It looks like he is going to be thrown into that offlane role, and at this point, he might end up just getting completely zoned. The Lion by himself can do quite a lot of work, although he can't directly trade hits with the Bristleback. Just the fear of those disables and the fear of getting cut off, the Bristleback can really end up falling short. If he gets Fissure blocked off, there's nothing that Bristle himself can do, and maybe we see No Fear Dota shake up these lanes a little bit, depending on what Make It Happen pick up for their mid. Slark mid can work, but only in very specific matchups where the Slark isn't completely shut down, and a lot of the current meta heroes do that pretty well. But then again, a lot of mids have been banned out with Sniper, Troll, Queen of Pain, and Shadow Fiend hitting the bin. Not sure what's left for Make It Happen to contemplate or what's comfortable for them. We'll just have to see. Yeah, Wind Ranger last game, it might be showing its face yet again, and maybe it'll put that into the mid-farming role. Only time will tell. Make It Happen are very open to pretty much any possibility, and it's also not unheard of to see a mid-shaker or even a mid-lion. I'd love to see it, although I doubt we're going to. It's not out of the question. It's going to be a puck for them. A pretty stable mid laner for them, or even off laner. It leaves them open to changing these lanes pretty fluidly if No Fear Dota pick up something along the lines of a Templar Assassin. Although that would leave them pretty lockdown light, the raw amount of damage it offers and being really good against the puck in lane might be enough to convince them to go for such a hero. Well then, I already like Make It Happen's lineup a little bit better. Their raw amount of initiation is so scary to go up against. With the blinking puck, with the blinking line, and eventually a blinking Earthshaker, things get really hairy. And this Abaddon, I don't think it patches up that hole enough. No Fear Dota, although it's going to be pretty nice, I suppose, in the early laning stage, if the Abaddon is on point with his rotations. Throughout the game, just because of the raw amount of disable that Make It Happen have, you're going to wish that you have more than just one aphotic shield to plunk down onto your cores. It's going to be really scary very early on if they can get this Bristleback up and running and being very aggressive. And maybe it is going to be dual lanes coming out from No Fear Dota. Last ban is going to be a Storm Spirit coming out from Make It Happen, even though they have plenty of disable to keep that Storm in place. It's still an annoying hero to deal with, and I can respect that ban. There's not much else that comes to mind in the mid lane that's really going to be wonderful for NFD. I think they've kind of drafted themselves into a little bit of a hole. Maybe they can get off to an early start and snowball from there, but I think they kind of rely on doing very well in their lanes. And their lanes, although not terrible, aren't the greatest either. Abaddon and Vengeful Spirit as a sporting duo are incredibly defensive, and although Vengeful Spirit can set things up with a magic missile maybe into a pounce in the Slark lane, Bristleback Abaddon rely entirely on just running at the enemy team in order to get kills. And a Fissure can completely stonewall that from happening. Make It Happen are going to be considering this last pickup. It still could be something for the mid lane. Honestly, I have no idea. This puck is pretty fluid wherever he wants to go. Vengeful Spirit and Slark killing off the puck is really, really difficult. Phase Shift, very easy to dodge that magic missile, and you also have the Illusory Orb to get out of pretty much everything else that they offer. And it looks like it is going to be an off-lane puck after all, as Make It Happen are going to pick up the Ember Spirit as their last. Honestly, I think since their first four were so stable and just really good heroes, I think they can afford to go for something like an Ember. And since No Fear Dota are lacking lockdown, I think this is a pretty good pick. No matter what the mid lane matchup is, with the heroes that we already see, Ember is going to have a pretty good time, even though he's not going to have the greatest. I really like this Make It Happen lineup. No Fear Dota, what's a hero that could actually patch this up and glue together their first four and really make it super scary? It's going to be a Tinker. Maybe this is going to buy them enough space to get the Bristleback and Slark online, but really, I'm not feeling it. Their lineup feels like it could very easily fall behind. I'm very afraid for No Fear Dota. And, well, apparently they're not. And maybe rightfully so. I hope that they can pull this off. But just by ease of execution, I think Make It Happen have that in the bag. But with good rotations and with good individual play, maybe they can overcome this difficult game, so to speak. No Fear Dota going to be playing on the Radiant side. Sky Griffin going to be taking the Bristleback to the offlane. Slark going to be played by Lego Pirate. Maple going to be taking up the Tinker towards mid. And our supporting duo are going to have Abaddon 90_06 and Vengeful Spirit played by I Got That Revenge. On the dire side, we're going to Make It Happen. Demon leading the charge on the Ember Spirit. Peace on the Earthshaker. Songs on the Juggernaut. PK0 on the Lion. And last but not least, Garb on the Puck. Again, as a 5-man rotation to start things off, they're going to smoke up and look again for First Blood. That did help them quite a lot in game number 1. Or, excuse me, no, it was actually NFD to get the First Blood. Either way, they're going to bump into the Vengeful Spirit. If they get the full wraparound, this could be pretty good. Lion going to show his face around the corner. Venge, not sure if she knows exactly what's happening, but, well, they will soon enough. Song's going to bump straight into the Tinker, and they have a spin at the ready. With Fish Block blocking him on the wrong side, they might not be able to get these kills, although they do set up for the 2-man. Bola is coming out from Demon. Not going to be enough. Unfortunately, Pieces Fissure was a little bit too far to the right. Had that landed here, it would have been a very easy kill, if not 2 kills. Missed opportunity for make it happen, and it happens every once in a while. Hopefully for them, the Fissures later on will be on point. Earthshaker's also not loaded out with that many clarities, so is at the potential to be sent back to base very easily. He's only going to be holding on to the mana for 1 or 2, really. Oh, well then. Make it happen. They're going to load out to their lanes, and let's see how these shake down. Offlane Puck, as I already kind of touched on inside the draft, shouldn't really have much to fear about coming out from NFD. Although the Puck isn't going to be farming the greatest in this lane, it's still going to be completely serviceable, and I think this is absolutely fine. Make it happen should be able to get a decent time Blink Dagger on the Puck, and at the very least levels, which is more than most offlaners can get, and I think it's going to be more than what Sky Griffin gets. The line, and even without the Earthshaker, is just going to be so annoying. In fact, he goes Mana Drain 1. Huh. I'm not sure I like that coming out from PK0. That Mana Drain really didn't do much of anything, but still the Bristleback isn't comfortably going to be able to sit up inside this lane, although he does have vision of where the Earthshaker is and knows that he's going for pulls. I don't think that's going to save him. Really, we have to wait until Alliance level 2 before they can do anything. This Mana Drain level 1's not doing it for him. I really would have liked to see Hex or Earthspike come out. I think it's just a little bit safer to go for. Especially since Bristleback, although it would be really nice for him to spam out the Quills, is in no real position to do that for now. The lanes are pretty static, and, well, this is looking pretty good for the Tinker because of that. Maple is doing pretty nicely up against the Ember Spirit when it comes to trading hits, although the CS is almost dead even, and I think we can pretty much call it dead even at 3-3 compared to 3-2. Tinker is going to have a slight advantage in this lane, but nothing unsurmountable, especially since he's not going to be going for a heat-seeking missiles build. March is going to be really annoying for the Ember, and will push out the lane a fair bit. But his actual kill potential on the Ember Spirit's pretty much nil. Kind of to be expected, I suppose. I'd love to see your support rotations or anything of the sort, but we can't do so until PK0 gets his level 2. But now that he does have it, this line can start accomplishing something. I'd like to see him do it. Haste Ring going to be secured by the Ember Spirit up towards top, whereas the Abaddon gets the Bounty Rune in the bottom lane for No Fear Dota. It's nice to get that extra bit of rune control, and the Ember Spirit is going to be pretty happy about this inside the laning stage. Both of our safe lane farmers are pretty much on par, and I think the real difference is in this off lane, at least for the time being. Level 3.5 on the Puck, only barely level 2 for the Bristleback, and the Puck is actually able to farm. In fact, already has boots flying out, and I have expected that to be a bottle. Inside this lane, I think the Puck could afford to go for something like that, and maybe even get a couple of kills on the Venge with such an item. 2 points up in the Illusory Orb. Not enough to kill off that Revenge immediately, but if the Venge gets too comfortable, very well could. End up losing her life, that is. Well, in a stark contrast to game number 1, neither team have actually made an aggressive move. Both teams are comfortable. Just sit back and farm for the time being. Probably until we get ultimates coming out from either side, in all honesty, and that might be a while yet. Puck kind of feels like the hero that make it happen and want to get stuff done with. Although the Ember Spirit can feasibly look for kills, Demon's going to be more inclined just to sit down and farm inside this middle lane. Puck going to be trading blows with the Abaddon with the shield on him. It's going to be pretty annoying to the Puck, but with a quick phase shift now, the Abaddon's actually going to take the lesser half of that exchange. And now that the lane's pushing in as well to the Puck, things really couldn't be going much better for Garb, except for getting a couple more CS, but really, beggars can't be choosers, and when you're in the offlane, you're more than anything a beggar. Level 4 about to come up for the Puck. The killing potential isn't there until you get Dream Quill, but even so, still doing quite a lot of work. The top lane has also lost a little bit of lane control against the Bristleback, giving him more experience. Really, this game is pretty much even until we see some sort of action-making rune. Or maybe a Fissure Block coming out from the Earthshaker. He does have a Fissure at the ready in just a couple seconds till he has the mana for that one. He does have it up and running, potentially looking for the Venge. Long range Fissure. Can he get in range? Doesn't look like he's going to be needed. The Flame Guard going to be doing more than enough damage as Demon secures that first blood. Now the Fissure going to help the retreat of the Ember as he heals up with his bottle over in the sidelines. It's really easy to underestimate the damage that comes out from that level 3 Flame Guard. And when you're just one support inside the lane, things like that can happen very easily. Sky Griffin going to get all of his mana drained out to him, less 40. PK0 not going to completely drain him dry, but more than enough to stop the Bristleback from having a comfortable time. I was all somewhat set up for by the Tinker going by and looking to make a couple of stacks for him, which is going to be really nice for the Tinker down the line. But it is also going to cost No Fear Dota the first blood that was picked up by the enemy mid, no less. Demon's going to be on his way towards his level 6, and at that point actually killing him off seems like it's almost impossible. No Fear Dota really do lack lockdown, and honestly I think, although most games you'd like to go for a Dagon or Bloodstone or something along those lines, for Maple, I think this is like a blink and a scythe game. Almost as fast as you can get it after getting your bots in bottle. Down towards bottom, Abaddon going to be dropped really low. John to the orb, silence him from the puck. Easy kill there. There is a phase shift to try to buy Garb a little bit more space, but not going to happen. Garb is going to get magic missile to the face, as I got that. Revenge is going to get revenge for his fallen comrade, but as an offlaner, that is going to secure puck level, almost level 6, and even though it gives Slark a lot of gold and experience towards his hand of Midas, presumably, that Lego Pirate's going to be saving up for, yeah, looks like it is going to be Midas after all for the Slark. I think that's still an alright trade for Make It Happen. Power tries up for the puck, and once that level 6 comes online, we can very easily see rotations. Things will start heating up a little bit for Make It Happen as we kind of have slowed down and gotten more into a farming state of game. I can't really tell you who that favors, however. The Tinker is going to be pretty happy that he's allowed to farm, but he's also not farming that great. The Ember Spirit is at the same CS, but he got a kill, and, well, speaking of kills, they might turn off, or kill off Maple. Excuse me, the Flame Guard again doing a lot of work, and now that Blind Chance from lasers is worn off, they'll kill him off. Demon securing yet another one for himself. Bottling up, and the Ember Spirit's back up and running in this mid lane. Vengeful Spirit, or no, that's the Abaddon coming in to the mid lane. It's going to get changed up, but that actually doesn't do much of anything. He'll be able to walk that one casually off. Back to the top lane with the Bristleback. Level 5 up for him, but now Earth spiked up, and with an Omni Slash. Oh no, Omni Slash is not ready yet. Juggernaut's just level 5, but they might still be able to get this kill. The Fissure Block's a little bit off the mark, and well, unfortunately, it's just not Pieces Fissure days. That's the second miss one. Bristleback going to be chasing forward, trying to kill off Songs, but with the Healing Word, it's not gonna happen. And they force out a rotation in from the Venge, and will force Bristleback to use his Salve, but that's pretty much the cost of that excursion down towards bottom lane. Or up towards top. Down towards bottom, Garb continues farming up, but then again, so does the Slug. Hand of Midas has been running for one usage, and will be able to keep that extra bit of gold income throughout the game. With the game's going so passively, I can't really knock the Midas pickup, although usually I'm more of a fan of treads into Shadowblade or treads into Blink, whatever your personal preference might be. Man, it's so weird to see such a slow-paced game after going for more than 2 kills a minute in game number 1. Both of the teams maybe had a general disagreement to just farm out for the first couple minutes of this game. Even though 1 to 3 is our kill score, it really doesn't feel like there have been many rotations, because there haven't. The supports this game have been very passive. Even though there is potential for Make It Happen to do stuff with these supports, they just haven't. And I think that's because they're just happy to farm up. But Juggernaut Ember Spirit puck late game is nothing to shake a stick at. A decent mix of initiation damage, and really something that No Fear Dota should be fearing. Just by raw farming efficiency, Dire have bought themselves a little bit of advantage to start things off. Not a major one, but 2,000 gold and 750 experience is also not too shabby either. Song's gonna need a lot of damage from the Quills with 4 stacks up onto himself, but that's nothing a Healing Word can't fix. And in the meantime, mid lane, Invis Rune onto the Ember Spirits are going to be able to get the chains on the Maple, and this Fissure's on point. With the Flame Guard, looks like they'll have plenty of damage. They are going to be forced to use 1 Remnant Jump coming out from Demon, but they'll be more than happy to do so. Tinker buys up his Soul Ring before dying, but it's just a Soul Ring on a Tinker 9 minutes into the game. Nothing that Make It Happen really need to be worried much about. It's going to help him clear out his stacks, and he desperately needs to do that in order to get back into this game. They've already been weakened up a little bit by a March or 2, but yeah, he needs a little bit more. Wrap around onto bottom, I got that Revenge. Killing off this puck is almost impossible unless you can somehow bait out the phase shift. And as long as Garb is diligent in making sure the magic missile is in the air before he actually pops that button, he should be fine. Tier 1 tower up towards top has been left alone to Make It Happen heroes for a little bit longer, as Songs is going to put some pressure onto that, but once the Bristleback's back into the lane, that pressure should subside, at least for the time being. We do have an Earthshaker down towards bottom lane. Maybe they're looking to use this Dream Coil for the first time. Maybe kill off the Venge. Going with the Slark is pretty darn difficult. And, well, oh, now that the phase shift has been baited, Garb gonna lose his life. Even though the silence does come out, a double kill Fissure from Peace. I'm gonna say that's hashtag worth for making it happen. That Earthshaker is gonna be really happy. Gets himself level 7. As well as 700 gold towards a Blink Dagger off of that. You really can't ask for much more on a support Earthshaker. I really thought that would go a lot worse for Puck. Yeah, after using the phase shift like that, it was a pretty straightforward magic missile. And although they do get the kill, it costs them their Slark. And in the meantime, the Juggernaut's farming up towards top. Not something you get to see every day, double kill Fissures, but when they happen, darn do they feel good. And Peace is going to get a lot of space. And maybe the Earthshaker Blink's going to be coming out faster than I gave him credit for inside the draft. I expected to give the farm priority to the Lion, but after something like that happening, I think Peace is the one to pick up that extra bit of gold. Why not? Blink Echo Slam is pretty darn good, even though it's not as consistent as a Blink Hex, just because of the raw cooldown. If you can catch somebody out, it's just as good. Up towards top, Juggernaut kills off the Bristleback. That was Omni Slash. Even though they turned with the Magic Missile Song, should be fine. He doesn't have mana for the healing ward, but there's no follow-up after that Magic Missile, so first use of Omni Slash is going to net them a kill, and honestly, I should have been looking at that a little bit more diligently. Mask of Madness is going to give him a farm acceleration at a pretty similar rate to the Midas on the Slark. Just because of how fast Juggernaut's able to farm with this item. With the innate crit, as well as with the Mask of Madness running, he'll be able to farm jungle very quickly and lane even faster. DP is up towards top, coming out from No Fear Dota. It's just the Bristleback to now meet with the Venge. They do have Nether Swap up and running, and Juggernaut's not the healthiest when it comes to mana and health, so maybe, just maybe, they can kill off Songs. Are they even going to look for it, however? No Gu up for the Bristleback yet. He's still going to start spamming out those quills, but with an Earth Spike to disengage, Sky Griffin can't stick onto any targets. Lego Pirate down towards bottom has been left alone by his Venge, and now needs to be a little bit more careful. Although he is going to go strong into the pocket with that Orb of Venom, we'll be able to get another hit off. In fact, he is going to land that Pounce jaunt out. It's going to keep the puck safe, or at least it should. In fact, he might be able to turn this one around. Garb decides not to jaunt to the Orb, but he doesn't have any backup, so actually killing off Lego Pirate is a distant dream for the puck. Not going to happen right now. Rotation up towards top, coming out from Demon with the phase drums, moving pretty darn fast and looking to mop up the Venge as well as Bristleback. He's going to drop a Remnant behind enemy lines, or behind his lines rather. He's going to get the chains only on the Venge, however. He absorbs the damage with the Flame Guard. The Venge is pretty much completely dead, although she's going to get swapped back. The Echo Slam, although it doesn't stun anything, does get some damage, but it doesn't seem to be enough. I Got Dat Revenge is going to end up losing her life, but it forces out rotation coming out from all of the major cores from Make It Happen. It's not the end of the world for NFD. Also Echo Slam on CD. Throughout the meantime, Tinker's been able to farm up the stacks and now has his Boots of Travel, and bottom lane Slark has been farming too. Honestly, I don't think that trade is too terrible for No Fear Dota. This Vengeful Spirit is, by design, kind of made to die. After you drop your load, you're pretty much just there for the defensive swap, and that's it. Demon at this point, almost breaching level 10. It's going to have the full combination of the max out change as well as the Flame Guard very soon. And up until this point, it's done a lot of work with it. But now that the Tinker has his Boots of Travel up, even though he's not going to be able to kill off the team and Make It Happen, at least very easily, he's still going to be able to put pressure onto the map and just be a general nuisance. And Make It Happen's ability to catch him out, although it's there with a Sleight of Fist to catch out Vision inside the trees as well as the Blinking in Puck. The blink on the puck isn't up yet, and it's also not the easiest of things to pull off. The Tinker can split push moderately safely. It's no Storm Spirit or Clockwork on the enemy team. Ember Spirit, now with the Remnant behind him, is going to chains up Maple as he's looking for a refresh. But with the Abaddon and Vengeful Spirit behind him, the Ember Spirit can't go for anything further. And whether Demon knows that these supports are here or not, he's going to decide against going any further. And now he definitely knows those supports are there. They're going to spot out this ward. Or spot them out with this ward. Tier 1 tower on top, only pressured out by Songs yet again, but this time there's no Bristleback to worry about. Sky Griffin was sent again all the way back to base, and even though the Bristleback's only died once, his actual pressure he's put into lane is a lot less than his counterpart, the Puck. Can't say really a lot less, but at least his impact has been. Boots of Travel up by the Tinker towards this top lane. They're looking to fight. Golden TP is coming in all around the place, and with those level 2 rocket Songs is dropped low. But not low enough. PKZ are going to be able to run out of there, as is the Juggernaut, and everybody lives. Tier 1 tower is not yet in deny range, so no fear Dota can't take away that gold for Make It Happen just yet. Garb going to TV away, he's inside the enemy ancients, and maybe we look down towards bottom with a hasted puck, blinking forward, Dreamcoil onto Lego Pirate. They have plenty of damage with the Fissure coming out, and well, he's going to save it to snipe the kill. Killing spree for peace, and he actually has his Blink Dagger gold. He's going to purchase that over from the side shop and might be able to save out his puck with this, or no. Garb used his phase shift a little early again, trying to dodge with some damage coming out from Maple, but it's not going to be able to dodge that very crucial magic missile and is going to end up trading his life 1-for-1. But if you can secure a 15-minute Earthshaker Blink on a support, I think that's actually pretty okay. Meantime, Ember Spirit, dropping really low inside the mid lane. The Flame Guard is going to keep him safe, however, from the magical damage of the Tinker, and Sky Griffin couldn't chase any further. Game is starting to pick up a little bit, but not convincingly so. Tinker is so great at stalling out and keeping the enemy team at bay. The tier 1 tower in top still stands, although not for long. Even once it's taken, this tower isn't going to really offer Make It Happen much map control at all. We'll just have to wait, I suppose, for Ember Spirit's next major item, or for Earthshaker to make this rotation with the Blink Dagger. He's not smoked up, and I'm also not sure if he's actually showing off this Blink Dagger yet, but he does have a Blink Echo at the ready for whenever Make It Happen want to make something happen, and hopefully, for my sake, it's going to be pretty darn soon. Solo casting a game where nothing happens is pretty darn boring, and up until this point, not a lot has. Earthshaker sitting behind bottom. I believe he's been revealed? Oh no, he hasn't been revealed yet, but he will very shortly by these Slark illusions, unless he's very good at hiding himself inside that nook, and it looks like he is going to be able to do so. Whether the blink has been revealed or not, no fear Dota are in no position to where that Echo Slam's actually going to do anything. The illusion's going to be mopped up by the puck, and that's about all she wrote. We have Finger of Death online for the Lion. As far as I know, he hasn't actually cast that yet, but Make It Happen's burst damage at this point is ridiculous. They have a blink on the puck as well as a blink on the Earthshaker, and that should be enough to secure kills one way, shape, or form. If they can actually catch out Maple, he dies so very quickly. He'll just sit over to the sideline, spam on his rockets, and do Tinker things. Drop those marching machines wherever he feels fit. Well then, we might as well just look at the other heroes farming, because that's kind of what's happening in this game. Up towards top, Bristleback's going to pursue out Songs, but with a Mask of Madness, Yasha phase boots. There's no catching this man. He's going to be able to run back towards his jungle and farm up pretty comfortably. Whereas Make It Happen, their gank squad is going to waddle all the way towards mid lane. But Abaddon's not really the person you want to end up finding at the receiving end of that gank with his ultimate up and at the ready. At the very least, he's going to be able to delay that kill, although probably not outright stop it. It's also not a very important kill. Well, they will open up with the chains. He's going to be able to purge those off with a shield, but now hexed up. He's going to be forced to proc the ultimate now. Earthspike is going to keep him in place for a little bit while longer yet. Ember's Bear going to drop a remnant over the sidelines. Dreamflow is going to commit on two, but there's your Echo Slam, killing off the Abaddon on impact, and now it's a double kill as he mops up the Bristleback 2. Mega kill spree for Peace. Now Maple going to eat an Omni Slash to the face with an Earthspike landing on a 2. That's going to be 4 down on the sidelines for No Fear. Dota is Make It Happen. Find a way to use those Blink Daggers, and in a big way too. Slark was in no way, shape, or form involved in that fight, and he's a little too late to the party. He's farmed up his Shadow Blade, now wants to assassinate somebody on the retreating end. He might be able to find Songs, going to open up with the Shadow Blade hit, no. Ends up going for the pounce first, but just the same, the Juggernaut's going to end up dying, not enough mana to spin, or really do much of anything. In the end, it's a 1 for 4, and the Slark is still farmed as all hell, but No Fear Dota doesn't seem like they're going to be able to do enough with that. Only time will tell. Let's see how many kills he can get with that Shadow Blade. Right now, the tally's up to 1. Earthshaker Echo Slam's going to be down for 100 seconds, and Puck might be down for a little bit more. No, he's going to survive this fight with the neutrals, although it's a pretty close call. Garb knows what he's doing. He's going to be just dandy. He'll be working towards the Yule Scepter for himself, and, well, back to the normal state of the game until we have Echo Slam up, I think. Echo and Finger, once they're back up and ready, these supports will be more than comfortable to fight. Blink Dagger off for PK0, although it would be a really nice asset to have for the team, it is a little bit harder to get when you have this kill-stealing Earthshaker who's been taking so much. But honestly, he's been playing really well. Outside of a couple of flubbed fissures, 5-0 and 5, the ES has had a really good performance and is ready to keep that up. With Arcanes completed, they'll offer some nice sustain to the team, and well, even without the Echo Slam, Fissure into Blink and Enchant Totem is pretty good initiation. Ember Spirit going to drop a remnant over in the sidelines, trying to catch out Vision of the Tinker if he is close by, or if he is going to be close by. And he's not. They're going to be giving up this tier 1 tower in the mid lane, or in the bottom lane, as they look instead to push out mid. No contention for that. As No Fear Dota don't feel like they're in any position to fight, and I'm inclined to believe them. Honestly, this game might have been pretty good for a Maelstrom on the Slark, as it seems that No Fear Dota don't really want to be fighting and just constantly split pushing. Maybe that would have met the goal a little bit better, but with an Aphotic Shield up and at the ready, as is the Shadowblade, he wants to go into PK0, but he's going to be met by a Sentry and a Fissure and a couple of crits and a smack to the face. Juggernaut kills off the Slark. What a terrible life to be this Fishman, walking straight into some enemy vision. That's not something that No Fear Dota can really afford to do. Slark is the only one that's been having a good time. Or at least a really good time. You have blinking bots on your Tinker. That's more than some Tinkers can say, and it's enough for him to be able to contribute. But not as much as this Puck, not as much as the Ember, and not as much as the Juggernaut. Ember Spirit is going to be working towards his Battle Fury, although it's not the fastest. It's also not going to be latest. 3-0-5, 85 CS here at 20.5 minutes in. After backing off for some nice cost-efficient items in the Wand and Drums, he's going to be pretty happy with himself. Demon is well on his way towards being a pretty darn scary Ember. Juggernaut going to farm up some enemy Ancients. This has been spotted out by a Radiant Observer Ward. Can it collapse onto him in time? Mr. Songs does not have any backup close by, and this could be a much-needed kill for No Fear Dota. They're going to lead with Avenge, with an Aphotic Shield on. They're going to open up with the Magic Missile, follow up with the Rockets, Laser, and Songs. Didn't have enough time to spin. The right-click damage should be enough. They'll swap him back for good measure. And Tinker gets that last hit, and a very important turn of events for No Fear Dota. Make it happen, getting a little too greedy when it comes to their Jug farming that up. They kind of needed somebody be there with a Blink Echo or a Blink Dream Coil, and neither of those heroes were in the close vicinity. I think the bottom line is that Juggernaut shouldn't have been there. Oh, well then, Ember Spirit going to be able to Remnant out. I really do lack a lot of lockdown. The Magic Missile is all that they have. They need something. They really do to keep this Ember Spirit in check. He'll start spamming out the creep wave, but that's not really enough to stop this, with the March of the Machines zoning him out just as well as the creep. Red Spike over in the sidelines, catches out Sky Griffin with follow-up Fissure. They don't get the Enchant Totem off, however, and the damage is immense with 3 stacks up from the Quills. Looks like he's slated to fall. They'll Finger of Death Sky Griffin for the backlines, and now Omni Slash him. He survives for a lot longer than he rightfully should have, but in the end, the Bristleback goes down just the same. The 2 supports are down. Spin doing a decent chunk of damage to that Revenge, as well as onto the Abaddon. Abaddon doesn't have his ultimate up, and it looks like Song's going to be able to kill this one off. Oh, no, it's going to be the Puck. Trying for the Roshan deny, going to fail. Now Lego Pirate's going to end up dying, so he gets Drain Cooled, canceling that auto attack animation and saving the Puck in the process. 2 for 3, even though it started out as a pretty bad fight for Make It Happen. Once they got all of their cores in the mix, things fell off the rails for No Fear Dota very quickly. Although the Slark is pretty close when it comes to net worth compared to Songs, his isn't actually invested directly into items that can benefit him. He looks to be saving up for an Eye of Scotty, and he'll have enough for an Ultimate Orb. But that Ultimate Orb's not in his inventory, and it's not going to help him fight near as much as the Basher, SNY, Mask of Madness. Very mid-game oriented and very damage-centric build coming out from the Juggernaut that is helping him quite a bit. The Tinker, even though he's sitting on a lot of gold, it's a similar story here. It's all tied up inside the bank. And really, I don't think anything short of like a completed Scythe or a completed Dagon is going to be enough to really do much of anything. There's your Basher up for Songs, and it looks like they might want to look for Roshan. With the Mask of Madness, the Juggernaut could very easily take this out, even by himself, if his team really needs him to do so. Well then, Roshan going to be attempted. Can he do this safely? However, Demon zoning out the Abaddon over in the sidelines, but maybe he's been enough more than he can chew. No, with a Spike as well as a Remnant out, he's fine. PK0, there's no bench close, and he's going to be able to survive. They need somebody to cancel TPs. They need like a Yules or anything, really. They're going to go into the Roshan pit. Songs doesn't have his Omni Slash up for 12 seconds or so. The Roche is low, but not low enough. He procs the Abaddon's ultimate. Now with the Blink Echo Slam at the ready, they could turn this one around. The Echo opportunity is there, but he decides against it. The Abaddon's going to be killed off in the sidelines. There's your Echo onto 2. It's a follow-up Enchant Totem. They'll be able to bring down the bench very quickly. Peach dropping low inside the March of Machines, but now with the Omni Slash and a couple of bashes going the way of Sky Griffin. Looks like Sky Griffin going to lose his life. All they need is one more crit or one more hit for that matter. Lego Pirate going to end up getting chained down to the ground, and another 2 for 3, and it's going to be even more. The TP attempt is going to be successful from the Tinker, but Abaddon not going to be so lucky. Triple kill for Songs, and they'll be able to clean up the Roshan quickly thereafter. Although it costs him an Earthshaker and a puck, more than worth it in the big swing of golden experience, and at this point, Make It Happen's lead is starting to get unmanageable. I think a lot due to the draft too. At this point, No Fear Dota kind of needed to be ahead, and their lanes just haven't worked out well enough to really get everything to fall together. We're getting very close to an Abyssal Blade for the Jug, or Scotty, or whatever big item he wants to go for. Honestly, I don't think it matters much, as long as it is a big item, and Demon's going to be working towards some pretty big damage after the fact too. Make It Happen, or doing a lot, although maybe they'll get a little too overconfident. The kill score looks a little... not sure exactly what the word, misleading, that's what I was looking for either way. 9-21, it looks like they're absolutely crushing, although it is an advantage for Make It Happen, and don't get me wrong, I really do think that their chances to win this game are much better than No Fear Dota's at this point. No Fear Dota do have a great turtling lineup, and a lineup that can take things late, and maybe they can buy enough space for the Slark. He's going to settle on a Basher as his next major item, and this will help out quite a bit, especially if he gets into a man fight again with the Juggernaut, as we kind of saw in this vicinity in the last engagement. Tier 2 tower up towards top looks to be the order of business for Make It Happen, although Tinker is going to delay this a little bit. It's not going to stop it outright. Juggernaut's actually pretty good against March of the Machines too. If you spin and you're at the tower, you can hit the tower and not be bothered by March of the Machines at all. Rocket's going to be a nuisance, but disjointed by the puck, and the song's sitting on that Aegis. I don't think he cares much. They were hunting for the Sinker over the sidelines, but it ends up costing him a little bit more HP than they would have wanted to. Tinker's now brought in some reinforcements, and with both the Ember Spirit as well as the Earthshaker tied up down towards bottom, I don't think Make It Happen really want to take this fight. Howl of Terror is not going to scout out the line over in the sidelines, and Juggernaut and Puck are also going to keep themselves safe, but they know that PK0 is here, Marching Machines. Not sure if they caught vision of him, and it looks like PK0 is going to survive, although only just blinking laser with the Rockets. I spoke too soon, he ends up losing his life. Easy sport pickings for Make It Happen, but it's not without trade. They're pushing down bottom in the meantime with the Earthshaker and the Ember Spirit. It seems like a game of whack-a-mole, honestly, for both sides. Whenever No Fear Dota lose somebody, there's always that Tinker pushing in the lanes with those Marcher Machines, and for now, Make It Happen are going to give them a little bit of taste of their own split push medicine with the Ember and Earthshaker. Rocket's going to be thrown out, but the Tinker might have bitten off more than get you. Maple getting cleaved down by the Ember. He's going to Remnant over the sidelines with an Echo Slam to buy the space for him to do so. Demon's going to mop up a mega kill spree. Maybe he's going to be forced to back out here, and it looks like he will. He's going to be able to remnant down to the low ground and makes himself scarce. Nobody else is close enough to actually help out, and the Ember Spirit's going to make it out alive. Tinker for Earthshaker, a trade that 9 times out of 10 you're going to be pretty comfortable making, and I think this case is no real exception. Although it's a pretty even exchange in gold and experience, that's time where they don't have to worry about Tinker's split push, and it's also time where they can dive Sky Griffin since they don't have to worry about Marching Machines, and also the Abaddon for that matter. Abaddon doesn't have his ultimate for 20 seconds, but for the time being is going to be able to survive, and now they turn hard into the puck. The right-click damage from Bristleback is immense, but now with one sleight of fist, Abaddon's going to end up losing his life, and Puck's able to jaunt out to his warp. Slark is inbound, but can't actually help out Sky Griffin when he gets bashed twice by Songs. Unstoppable spree for the Juggernaut, and well, that's 3 down on the deck, as Make It Happen should be able to take out this Tier 2 tower very, very easily. Tier 2 tower going to fall, and Make It Happen. Although I don't think they can straight up go high ground tier, they can put some tier 3 tower damage without much hassle. Bristleback and Abaddon are 2 heroes that they're not going to have to worry about, and even though they're not the most important heroes for No Fear Dota's fights, they need everything that they can get. It ends up only being about 150 damage or so onto that tower, a little bit more than that, but regardless, it's going to make it that much easier next time they want to go high ground. And well, another item that's also going to make that easier is an Abyssal Blade for the Jug. It's going to make both his right clicks hurt like a truck, and also just being able to guaranteed lock down the Slark if he's already used his Dark Pact or he mistimes it or something along those lines. The Tinker, pretty much everybody, it's just such a wonderful item. Make It Happen do not lack the initiation and lockdown power, and I think No Fear Dota have drafted themselves into a really precarious game. This item, however, is going to help remedy that. Scythe of Buys up for Maple. I think this is the right build and absolutely mandatory. They need a Scythe. Otherwise, killing off this Jug, killing off this Ember Spirit's really hard. They'll probably need another major item after that for Maple to be able to sustain that mana usage. Maybe a Bloodstone for him, maybe a Shiva's, something along those lines, but still, this is going to help a truck ton. That's going to be it completed up as soon as he gets that tick gold, enough for it, and he'll send that back to base. Scythe is up and running whenever the courier gets back home. Choo-Choo Tower and bottom's going to be pressured out by Make It Happen. They have the Aegis, but only for a couple more seconds. Doesn't look like they're going to get an opportunity to use it. It'll time out before they get anything more than this tier 2, but even though they don't use it, the threat of the Aegis seems to be enough to get them 2 tier 2 towers, and you can't really knock that. Song's itching to go for more. I'm not sure if this is the right choice, but he's going to try for it anyway. Massive Madness activated. He bashes up the Abaddon. He's ending up going to lose his life. They didn't keep track of the Roshan timer very well, and this is a big turnaround for an NFD if they can actually make it happen. PKO is going to end up dying down to the Bristleback. Double kill for Sky Griffin. Now they look for the Puck. Puck dropped down to the ground. They have a Fisher for long range if they can actually help him out. It looks like Puck's going to survive, but the cost of Yoshika's life looks for the stun and then a TP out. Unfortunately, not stunning them long enough. That's not working pretty much ever. He had 17 one charges. Maybe if you pop those, his chances would have been better, but even so, Make It Happen. They lose a bad fight. It's not over for them either. No Fear Dota need a lot more fights like that in order to get convincingly back into this game, but that's a step in the right direction. Really an unfortunate fight. Haste Rune on a Demon Pig. He's going to be able to run away. Gets hexed up again. The magic missile is going to fly through. Where's the damage? There's the laser, but it's just not there. They don't have any further mana on the Tinker to keep him inside that hexed form. Make It Happen are going to get all their heroes respawn before NFD can really get much of anything done on the map. Tier 2 tower in mid has been taken, or has taken a little bit of damage, but that wasn't as a response to that one fight. And the tier 1s in the side lanes are still as healthy as they have been for the last couple of minutes in this game. Even though they lost a little bit of momentum, Make It Happen still have a lot of items on their Jug and their Ember Spirit, with Daedalus Battle Fury up for the Ember. And as I already mentioned, the Abyssal Blade for Songs, they are trucking. And they're going to try to use this damage to take down a tier 2 tower in mid. NFD are not in any position to really defend with their heroes. Tinker kind of needed to be mid 5 seconds ago if you really wanted to have an attempt at contesting this. And even if he's here, he might just be at the receiving end of an Omni Slash or a nasty crit from the Ember. Tier 2 tower in mid going to fall without much of a hassle, whereas the Abaddon gets the tower up top for his team. So it's not without trade, but still a great trade for MIH. They're going to try for a high ground push. Maybe they can make this happen. But then again, I think this might be a little bit overzealous. Probably want to wait for the next Roshan since NFD's high ground defense is just a little too hard to crack. The creep wave's already down, and the damage that they've done to this tier 3 tower is negligible at best. 49. Pretty much one auto attack. In fact, I think it was just one auto attack. Make It Happen. We'll fall back for the time being and just farm it up. This has pretty much been the story of this game, although there have been isolated fights here and there. No Fear Dota are playing a lineup that, although they have a Slark that wants to be fighting, the rest of the heroes not so much. Well, maybe he's going to be able to get this fight, but the Hex is a little too late in coming on Songs, and now with the Echo Slam, they'll turn on to Maple with the Abyssal Blade. He can go nowhere. Lego Pirate wants to assassinate this Earthshaker, but you can't do that, son, unless you get the luckiest of bashes. He's bitten off way more than he can chew. He might get peace, but probably at the cost of his own life, especially when Lion comes in from the sidelines. Gets the Earth Spike onto 2, Finger of Death kill off the Venge. They get a lucky bash onto Songs. Is that enough to save him, or kill him, however? Now with the Fissure, he's going to be able to proc the Abaddon ultimate. In the end, they kill him off, but now they bring in Demon over in the sidelines. The Cleave coming out from the Battle Fury isn't doing enough, but he does get a lucky crit onto Lego Pirate, jumping forward with the Remnant. Do they have any detection onto him? Lego Pirate wants to reinitiate, but it's going to be the death of the Abaddon just the same. He shielded Lego Pirate, but that was his dying breath, and well, speaking of dying, looks like Sky Griffin's going to be doing his share of that too. He gets chained down to the ground, silenced up, and just smacked down. 4 for 1, going to be the trade, and even though Make It Happen lose their Jug, they get pretty much everything else. Gem in the Earthshaker is going to mean that that's not happening pretty much ever. That was such a greedy fight from No Fear Dota. The Slark was way far ahead from the rest of his team, and unless he got a first hit bash, and even if he did get a first hit bash on Earthshaker, I'm not sure his damage output would have been enough. Slark, when he's running with 0 essence shifts at the start of a fight, isn't that impressive, and well, he needs to be careful. Tinker over in the sidelines. He's going to be able to get a Hex off, and they are standing inside the March of the Machines. That's going to buy him enough space, but oh my goodness, that Daedalus crit. Maple going to be killed off by the Silence, swap back by the Venge. Trying to do anything that she can, but maybe it's the cost of her own life. They'll be able to kill off the Lion, but that's about it. Slark looking for the Puck, trying to cancel out that Blink Dagger. Not going to happen. In the meantime, Ember Spirit gets magic missiled and Wave of Terror to the face. Ember Spirit going to end up being another casualty of war, as yet again, No Fear Dota, despite losing their Tinker and despite losing a fight, defend high ground, and I wonder how many times it's going to take before they're actually able to really capitalize off of this. They have now Scotty completed up for Lego Pirate. That's a good step in the right direction, and they have dented this advantage coming out from Make It Happen, or at the very least have stemmed the bleeding, pretty much wobbling between 8,000 to 10,000 net worth advantage, and pretty similar in experience, at least for the time being. Slark on an assassination mission for Garb. He gets the bash. Can this puck make it out alive? Has a blink off of cooldown. You will sacrificing it by as much space as possible. Phase shift again. There's just no locking down this thing. Blink up to the north. TP out by Garb. Garb, is she fine? Nah, yeah. Not sure why you don't swap. Not sure why you don't magic missile, but Vengeful Spirit was as surprised by that puck TP as pretty much anybody would have been, so unfortunate. I'm not sure if that magic missile would have landed. I think you have to commit the swap for that, and even then it might have been a little too late, but at the very least it was the wrong button to attempt. Regardless, puck makes it out alive, and well, No Fear Dota is still sitting on a decent amount of gold for their Slark and Tinker. It's a pretty interesting game, all things considered, and Make It Happen are going to look to make it a little bit more interesting as they smoke up with 3 of their heroes. Going deep into enemy woods, excuse me, as they look for the Vengeful Spirit. She's out wandering alone, but for the time being, they're not going to find her, and maybe they get a bigger fish to fry. Trying to cancel the TP of the Tinker, not going to happen. Songs was a little too late in coming, but what they will be able to find is a Slark. He is going to be hexed up, silenced up, Finger of Death, Abyssal Bladed. Oh my goodness, that's a dead fish, my friends. 76 seconds on the sidelines, I believe that's a dieback for the Slark. No, he's just a really high level, excuse me. He's level 20. That's why his cooldown's so long. After picking up so many kills, I suppose, in the last couple of fights, or at least ending a couple of sprees for Make It Happen, that's the explanation there. But this is a minute where Make It Happen can take a Roshan very easily, and well, they'll do so, and maybe even can push out high ground before Slark is really in any position to defend. Songs is going to have himself a double life and a BKB for this next push, and that's going to make it a lot easier. Although not the most common of items to see up on a Juggernaut, I think it's completely fine. It'll negate the entirety of No Fear Dota's CC, and you can't ask for much more. I suppose they still have the Basher coming out from the Slark and the Scotty slow, but I don't think that's going to bother Songs too much. It's going to allow him to push high ground pretty much without any fear. And, well, speaking of fear, No Fear Dota are getting primed to look for this high ground defense. We have a pause coming out from Make It Happen, hopefully. It won't be too long before we resume the game. I would love to know what this pause is actually about, but regardless, we'll just have to wait. We also have BKB up for the Ember Spirit. They've had enough with the Scythe shenanigans coming up from the Tinker, and really, he just doesn't have the mana to sustain it enough. Although you can blink and Scythe them to stop them from getting the BKB off, I'm not sure that's going to happen. He's currently en route back to base. We'll just kind of chill as we wait for this game to reconvene. Make It Happen currently up 1-0 inside this best of 2. Whether they win or lose, this is the last game, but certainly they'd love to win. I don't think there's any team that would want to lose, really. I don't think it also affects their standing inside the JDL Season 5. I think they're almost secured a spot again in Division 2 for the next round of JDL. But for No Fear Dota, this actually means quite a bit for them. They really wanted to take this 2-0 and really want to take it 1-1 now. If they don't want to end up in the Division 2-3 playoffs, it's not a comfortable place to be in by any means. You want to be moving up in the ranks, not down, for sure. Bottom lane is going to be sieged out by Make It Happen. Let's see if No Fear Dota are going to be able to defend this yet again. Free play is going to be mopped up by just a couple of cleaves coming out from Demon. Now with the healing ward on the ground, they'll continue to push on to the tier 3. They lock down Sky Griffin with a handful of bullets coming out from Demon, and although Songs is dropping low, it's not low enough to dissuade him from going for this since he does have the Aegis. He's hexed up, but the Blink and Echo Slam onto the backlines with the double Dream Coil onto Lego Pirate, as well as the Abaddon is going to completely zone out NFD, but the focus fire isn't enough to actually kill them off. They instead decide to go on multiple fronts, but now with the Finger of Death as well as a cleave through onto the Tinker, he's going to end up losing his life, instantly buying back. They kill off the Aegis, but that's all that they get up until this point. They'll hex up Peace, and now we'll be able to turn onto the Earthshaker gem on the deck. Songs is now also a pig. Songs trying to run for that gem. He has an Omnislash, but can't get it off. His BKB was previously used, and now Magic Missile. The Jug is down. The Ember Spirit's still going to town, but he's also a pig. Everybody's a pig, and he's also going to be fried. Make It Happen lose pretty much everything that they had. as far as that high ground push was supposed to mean. They didn't focus down the barracks. All they get is a tier 3 tower, and at this point, I think that's a huge win for NFD. Although it costs them a buyback on the Tinker, just that raw experience change is ridiculous, and you can't really shake a stick at a 3k gold swing either. Although it's going to mean less and less for the Slark. That does cap out your Tinker when it comes to all of his spells being maxed out if he wasn't already, and really things are looking better for No Fear Dota. They're holding, and they're holding pretty strong. Make it happen. Their timing on their BKB usage wasn't enough. They needed to take down the objectives instead of diving into the fountain. I think next time things will look a little bit better for them, but the instant crackback from NFD is going to mean at least one tier 2 should be falling in their favor. Tier 2 tower in mid's already at about half HP and should be taken out before the Ember is back up in the Jug too. Although Make It Happen might look to try and fight. They'll look for a fissure on the sidelines or just Hex on the Sky Griffin. They'll get the Hex, but the fissure lands into the Venge after a defensive swap. Maybe they're not getting this tier 2 tower after all. Puck going to pursue, gets a Dream Coil onto Dat. Revenge can she cancel that TP? She will with the Yule Scepter. Now drop back into an angry Juggernaut, gets the bash for good measure. Although Ghost Scepter is going to buy a little bit more space. Blink in, enchant Totem, and one smack out to do it. There you go, big smack from the Earthshaker, and that's gem on the deck retrieved by Make It Happen. It's still not an easy game by any means for No Fear Dota, but they've held 3 times in a row on the high ground, surprisingly so. Down towards bottom, and they're forced to deal with some foot pushing that has been taken out by the Slark as well as the Tinker both. Speaking of the Slark, Lego Pirates over in the sidelines, maybe looking for a puck pick, and they'll get it with the Tinker coming in the backlines. Finger of Death on the Tinker, but that's not going to kill him off. PK0 going to die to the Slark as he just cleaves him down pretty easily, smacking with that barb of Scotty. And I have Scotty both. That's your Abyssal Blade up for the Slark. He's going to bump into the Earthshaker pretty soon here, but it looks like everybody's evaded. Everybody else. Invis Rune and bottom are going to wear off. Songs is here, and Slark doesn't want to have anything to do with that Juggernaut. As cool as it is to get some pickoffs on these supports, Juggernaut's a little bit harder to bring down. Although maybe he can do it with the Abyssal. It's leaving too much shit chance. Excuse me, sorry about that. It is getting pretty late. Either way, up towards top. Ember Spirit hunting for the Tinker, can't find him. Oh, Demon not able to catch out that mechanical rat as he continues his split pushing duty. Maple going to be working towards an Ethereal Blade, and even just the casual Ghost Scepter is really nice to have on your Tinker at this point, up against the Jug and Ember Spirit both. Although you do run the risk of getting fingered. It's a risk that Tinker is willing to take, especially after Finger is already used. The damage coming out from Jug and Ember is just a little too much. It's already just a great item to have against Omni Slash in and of itself. We've slowed down a bit as Make It Happen aren't really willing to go for a push without having the Aegis at their disposal, and even when they had the Aegis the last 3 times, it has failed for them. So they're going to be thinking twice before going for any major moves onto the enemy map, but maybe if they can force out No Fear Dota to 5-man and look for a fight that way, they can rely off the power of the Blinking Earthshaker and Blinking Puck. The last fight in that high ground push, they kind of split their focus, and the Juggernaut didn't go for the heroes that were inside the Echo Slam Dream Coil combination. I think they need to tighten things up and maybe get a little bit less greedy. They're going to smoke up and look towards the sidelines. They might find out Maple. The Earth Spike misses, and now Earthshaker may be in some trouble. Fissure is going to connect, and now Maple, and a lot of trouble. Finger of Death into the Ghost Scepter. My goodness. Poor Tinker. Poor Tinker. He's going to end up being nothing more than a crater on the ground. Meantime, Abyssal Blade on the Slark is going to kill off the Ember Spirit, making it a 1-for-1 trade across the map, and Make It Happen probably can't do anything off of that Tinker pick. But maybe they can try. If they do, they might have to buy back on the Ember Spirit. No boots of travel and no money in order to get those. It'll take him a long while before he's able to join the fray, but Make It Happen are going to try to do it anyway. They buy back on their Ember, and they're going to go for it. He's currently without TP, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he doesn't have TP, but he had a Remnant over in the side shop. They're going to swing down towards bottom and focus down the Range Barracks. Range Barracks down to about half HP, and now they decide to go for melee. Why not get both? The Glyph is going to delay. They magic missile up the Earthshaker, but now Songs is losing his man fight up against the Bristleback, but he's able to get the Omni Slash off just the same and make it off to the backlines. He doesn't have a healing ward for a couple more seconds, but Demon's fighting for all he's worth. He gets bashed by the Slark, gets off another Sleight of Fist, but it's just not enough. They get the range barracks, but can they make it out cleanly? Songs dropping low with the Minus Armor coming out from the Medallion, as well as the Snot from the Bristleback. He's going to be swapped back in. Can they kill him off? It looks like the answer to that question is yes. Songs dropping low. They do get a Hex off onto Lego Pirate, trying to buy as much space. The Puck is doing the best he can, but it's just not enough. Puck going to be pursued. Abyssal bladed up, and now Garb going to die too, and I can't believe it. NFD again going to make this high ground defense. Bottom lane has just been Make It Happen's bane. They get a range barracks, and that's nice and all, but 43 minutes in the game, I don't think NFD care much, especially not if Demon gets bashed here. Ooh, this could be really bad. Pound's gonna miss. See, Remnant's back, and, well, Remnant's back towards mid. Demon's still close by. Slark decides against going for it, however. Doesn't have enough mana to comfortably go for that pick, and I can respect that. Either way. No Fear Dota now have a Slark that's at the top of the net worth chart. A Slark that's currently holding on to a gem, and will be holding on to another big 6-slotted item soon. A Bristleback that's going to get an Assault Cuirass any second now whenever he flies that out to himself, and a Tinker that will also have an Ethereal Blade or something along that caliber in the near future. Again, you know, if your Dota have really brought this game back into their sidelines, and for the first time in a long time, in fact, since I want to say 5 minutes in this game, they have an advantage in gold and experience. 2,000 in gold and 4,000 in XP. Things are looking up for them. Things are looking up for them indeed. No Fear Dota have gotten over the hump of their draft, which was really that early mid-game. Their fighting potential just wasn't up to stuff, but time and time again, their high ground defense has proved to be brick walling, make it happen. They just haven't been able to do it. They just haven't been able to do it. Gem of True Sight is currently on the ground. Not sure what Venge's plans are with this one. Maybe just going out for a warding mission and not wanting to drop that. We'll send the Korea out to pick that up for the team and make sure that they don't lose that ever-precious True Sight. We'll drop a ward down towards bottom, spots out the puck. That's about all she wrote. No Fear Dota, even though they've gotten a lot more momentum, their ability to actually make something happen is pretty limited. My goodness, I've said that a billion times this game between the teams and what they're actually doing, but it's kind of true. No Fear Dota, although they do have tools to control the map and keep pressure on the side to make it happen at this point. Ember's here can push out these lanes pretty nicely, as can most of the other heroes from the enemy team, and they can't take a head-on collision fight unless they have better positioning, and I think that kind of relies on them being on high ground. Blade Mail up for the Abaddon as well as Vlad's. He's kind of silently picked up a lot of these nice cost-effective items, and it's going to allow No Fear Dota to go into the Roshan pit. Unfortunately for them, it's not spawned yet, but maybe they can get a pick first. They're going to look towards the north, but I think that this might have been spotted out by the Radiant, or at the very least, MIH have thought of the same idea. They're going to smoke up as pretty much everybody and not bump into anybody from the side of No Fear Dota yet. They're waiting where in between the Tier 1 tower and Tier 2 towers once stood. They'll look for that pick, but nobody's going to take the bait. Nobody wants to farm that up. It looks a little too good to be true. Instead, they're going to back off from the Roche pit, and this might favor No Fear Dota. But it's also a big clump where Make It Happen's team fight really starts getting very scary. The cleave from Ember Spirit gets some real value, as does the Echo Slam and the Dreamcore. They're going to open up into the Roche. The Abaddon and Venge can do this, although it's pretty slow. They need some backup from the Slark and Bristleback, I think, and they are going to get that. MIH aren't going to be able to contest this. It doesn't look like they're a little too slow in coming. That's a double life to the Slark. And No Fear Dota have stolen that Aegis out from the nose of the enemy team. Blinking Yules, they catch out one. They'll silence up two. Dreamcoil onto the Slark, but that's not really the target you want to go on. He has an Aegis. They might be able to bring him down once, but at what cost? He's going to be able to Shadow Blade and make his way out. And with his Shadow Dance passive running overtime, he's going to be able to get back into this fight. Unfortunately, Abaddon gets crit by an Ember Spirit and looks like he's going to end up dying. He currently has his ultimate activated, as does the Blade Mail. They're not going to touch him for the time being, even if they heal him up to full beforehand. Doesn't matter. Borrowed time is only going to be that, just a little bit of extra solace before he ends up going down. We do have a double damage rune for Ember Spirit, and with that pickoff, maybe Make It Happen can put some pressure onto the enemy map. But really, No Fear Dota bought a big window. At this point, it's all about teamfight execution, and Make It Happen have just had a couple of subpar fights. Let's see if they're going to be able to redeem themselves in the coming ones. After getting such an early Blink Dagger on the Surf Shaker, I expected to do a little bit more. After going 5-0-5, his KDA is by no means bad, but he's died 6 times after the fact and pretty much been the cost of every engagement since. Yeah, pretty unfortunate to make it happen, just a little too greedy. Let's see if they're going to end up being able to pull out this game. We've slowed down. Both sides are just farming up their own woods. For the time being, both sides also have very defensive wars. If we take a look at that right now. Nice control over mid, coming out from NFD. They'll see an invis room picked up by the puck. And, well, pretty similar story for MIH. Oh, over the sidelines to get a hex over into guard, but now the puck. They'll be able to kill him down. I am not sure where they had the gem or if they needed any detection. Puck ends up just getting caught out with his pants down. Or her. I'm not sure exactly what puck is. Either way, Fairy Dragon ends up being the cost of that. Now, No Fear Dota are in a prime position to start looking for a push onto a tier 2 tower. Bottom lane, 350 HP with the AC aura, and with the damage coming out from the Slark, it'll be mopped up in just a matter of seconds. And now maybe they go for high ground. I don't think it gets much better for No Fear Dota, except for the fact that there's a double damage rune on Demon. They should probably wait that one out, but it's going to expire soon enough anyway. They probably can afford to take this fight if they bring in everybody. Swap out from the Slark. I have no idea if that was necessary. Do we have an Aghanims up for the Venge? No, it's on cooldown for 40 seconds. That might end up hurting them a little bit more than it helps. Fish are going to connect onto the Slark, but he's still standing strong. It is potentially looking for a target to stick onto. Ember Spirit up in the front lines, pops BKB. Pound's gonna miss because of it, but he gets bashed. Demon trying to get away, can't do it. Slowed down by the Scotty. His remnants are moving too slow. And now Song's also in a bit of a pickle. He's gonna be able to get the Omni Slash off with the 3-man Dream Coil, but the damage just isn't enough. Buyback from the Ember Spirit. There you go. Maybe it's going to be enough, but with the cheese on the Sky Griffin, he's going to be back up juice to full. Now they turn around. If they kill off Demon here, this could just be over. There's no buyback on the Jug, and they are going to be able to kill him down. It's a rampage for Lego Pirate. And No Fear Dota, I think they've just ended this game. There's no buybacks for Make It Happen. They can end. They could actually just hit the throne or get Mega Creeps. Whatever they want to do, really. No Fear Dota are open up to it after such a long period of passivity and after a couple of botched fights. Look at that net worth graph. That really kind of tells the story of this game. There's that one defense. And then there's that last fight. No Fear Dota blow this game wide open. That's 1 lane, that's 2 lanes, and, well, that's going to be 3 lanes. It looks like we're going to have yet another classic JDL 1-1 in this best of 2. Unfortunately, that means there is not going to be a third and final game, but with No Fear Dota now sitting on Mega Creeps, Make It Happen need nothing short of a miracle, and by miracle, I mean No Fear Dota kind of just sit in the well. And they'd have to do that now, because they need their Ember Spirit to be alive. This is it. This is it. Well played, No Fear Dota. Their high ground defense served them well, and even though their draft was pretty hard to execute, it pays off. They're going to get Nerf Spike on the Lego Pirate, but I'm not sure if that actually saves the Lion. Ghost Scepter is going to mean he dies from those rockets. GG well played is officially called out, and, well, we'll end this 1-1. Still a chance for No Fear Dota to be inside JDL Division 2 for the next season, so they'll be fighting hard. I believe they have 1 more series left. I can't, for the life of me, remember who that's against. But we'll just have to see how this all pans out. Thanks for tuning in to HeflaTV 1. If you like the casting, you follow us on HeflaTV, Twitter, Facebook, and here on Twitch. I've been GrandisV, and, well, the VODs we upload to youtube.com/HeflaMoke. I don't really have much more to say, other than thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you on some future broadcasts.